everyone, welcome to part 3 of the Simplify Your Life series. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 yet, I'm going to leave the links to those videos down below so you can watch them, get caught up, and then come back to this video. If you want access to today's free printable, I'm linking it in the description below. And today I'm going to be showing you how I'm actually using my planner in order to implement this declutter challenge. This method is based on the idea that every task demands its own unique skill set as well as mental concentration. Because different types of tasks are using different areas of our brains, whenever we switch from one type of task to another, it takes time for our brains to make that switch. Studies indicate that on average, it takes 23 minutes to regain focus on a task after being distracted. However, by batching similar tasks of activities together, we may be able to save ourselves both time and energy by minimizing the number of transitions that we have to make. Because of this, the process that I'm teaching today is broken down into 4 mindsets, or what I'm calling modes, that we will switch between to complete each tiny area in a way that minimizes the number of transitions we are making. The first mode is called the prep mode. Step 1 is to plan in which days you will work on decluttering. So here I'm just writing down in my planner to work on a declutter challenge task each day, and I'll be adding in more to my planner during mode number 4, which is called the planning mode, which is later on in this video. For this process, I of course need this list in here so I know what the tiny areas in my home are that I need to work on. So I'm going to be using my May monthly list for this demonstration. I received some questions about the monthly list, so if you're interested in those too, they are now available in my Etsy shop as part of the new Planner Essentials extension pack. I'll leave the link down below if you would like to check that out. My monthly list is where I kind of capture any sort of like appointment that I have or to do that I have for that month. You don't need this sheet. You can just use like a plain piece of note paper and then just draw in the check boxes. I'm just using this because this is how like my planning system works. This is where I pull my action items from at the beginning of the week when I plan out my week. In addition to getting out the sheet of paper and pen, I'm going to get out a bag for trash, a box labeled donations, and a box labeled action steps. For this demonstration, we are going to be decluttering this drawer from my closet. So this originally started out as a placeholder for items that I want to keep in my purse when I transfer my stuff into a new purse, but then it eventually kind of evolved into this junk drawer. I have been neglecting this drawer and I really need to go through this stuff. We're going to use the decision tree in order to make decisions about this. And we're going to go through each item one by one. The first question that I'm going to ask is, have I used this item before? No, because this is my husband's. An action item is associated with this. The action item is that I need to return this to my husband. So for this demonstration, we're saying that I'm working on this in May. So I'm going to write down the action item. Because the next action is to return this to my husband, it's going into the action step box. The next item are my Bluetooth headphones. Do I plan to use this item again? Yes. Is it here because there's an action item or a next step associated with it? And the answer is yes. The reason why they're in here is because I needed to charge them, so I need to add that to my monthly list. The action item after this has been completed is return Bluetooth headphones to my purse. I need to move this into the action step box. This one is actually a gift. It was a keychain that my friend Carrie made for me, but then it broke and I didn't want to get rid of it. I want to put this in my memorabilia box. So this is going in here. These 2 items are actually trash.
So we have these purse straps in here. No, I have not used it. Is there a purpose that this item is intended for? Well, this is actually a purse strap to a Target purse that I don't even own anymore. So this is definitely going into either, the donate pile if I feel like someone can actually use it. I don't think they can use it because they would need the purse that goes with it, right? So this is going to have to go into the trash pile. These two purse straps are for purses that I still own. So I do want to keep them. I'm going to go ahead and set them aside because they're going to go back into this drawer once we're done. I can repurpose this item. So the next action step for this is to move this into the primary bathroom drawer. This scarf hook. I have not used this item before, but the purpose that is intended for is to hold my scarves, and I actually have a scarf that needs a scarf hook, and I just forgot that I owned this. So the next action step is to move scarf hook into my closet. This is a fanny pack that I bought for jogging or riding my bike. It does not belong in this drawer. I don't even know why I put it in here. It belongs in my workout drawer. I don't really need these anymore. So I'm going to toss the one that's broken. And then the one that is not broken, I'm going to put in my donate box. Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff in here.
One of the benefits of decluttering in this way is that it minimizes the mess that you're making while decluttering. Instead of making a huge chaotic mess, everything we do will be contained into just 2 boxes and 1 bag. So when you have to step away and aren't able to finish your tiny area when life happens, you're stepping away from a relatively clean and tidy area. And that way, you won't be too overwhelmed to come back to it.
Okay, the next 2 items are these sunglasses. Have I used this item before? Yes. Do I plan to use this item again? No. As you can see, they are broken. Why did I keep these? I don't even know what I was planning. Like, look, you can't even wear these. And then the same is true for these. These sunglasses are old and broken, so these are going in trash. The last item is my Kindle. It's in here because I bought this to bring to work to read either during my lunchtime or during the time that I'm walking to the building. But it's in here because it was supposed to be charged and I never charged it. There is a purpose for this item, and there's also a next action step. And now I can return items to homes. Okay, so now, assuming that I still have time, if I don't have time in my day, then everything that, has an action step associated with it, it's contained in this box. It's not spread throughout a room making a huge mess. And I know now exactly what needs to be done with each item. Either I schedule in my planner to work on these action items, or I just immediately work on them after I'm done with that drawer. But I don't want to move on to the next tiny area on my declutter list until all of this is addressed. I want to empty out my action step box before I move on to the next tiny area. And that's also why I don't have dates associated with each of those tiny areas on my sheet. So you don't see dates on here, and that's because I want to make sure that this tiny area and all of the action steps associated with that tiny area are done before moving on. In order to very quickly address this box, I'm going to pull out all the easy items. That's everything that says return or move or give. That's also why I'm only working on one area at a time, because otherwise this box would be overflowing and overwhelming. And the whole point of this process is that we're not getting overwhelmed. First, I have these items that need to be given to my husband. So I'm just removing each thing based on which room it's going to go into. So that actually only took like a couple minutes because I batched it, and now I can check all these tasks off. In case you're wondering, like, why didn't you just do that when you were going through the items? The reason why is because I get distracted very easily. If I'm putting items away, when I get to those rooms, I have a tendency to start wanting to clean the room that I'm in. So when I try to batch it and try to get it done very quickly, that allows me to not get distracted. But Dana K. White has a different method where she does say that you want to put away the item immediately. That just doesn't work for me. That's not how my brain works. So look at all these tasks that we were able to complete in a matter of a couple minutes. Now we have some action items that are going to take a little bit more time, but I'm going to work on them because I want to get them done. So the first one is charge my Bluetooth headphones. So I'm going to go plug these in right now. And I'm also going to charge my Kindle at the same time because these are similar actions. In case you're wondering, how do you remember to return the headphones to your purse? How do you remember to return the Kindle to your purse? Well, that's where my planner comes in. The first thing that I do is I write in my scheduled tasks. For this week, for this demonstration, we don't have any scheduled tasks, so I won't worry about that for now. The first task on here is return Bluetooth headphones to my purse. I'm going to schedule in what day I'm going to complete this task. So now that this is scheduled on here, I can draw an arrow to indicate that it has been scheduled into my planner. And we're going to do the same with the Kindle. And then the final task on here that's relevant to this week is clean ID lanyard for work. So now these can have arrows drawn here. Why am I writing declutter challenge task here? Why am I not scheduling in each of these tiny areas into my planner? Well, the reason is because if I put a schedule on here and then something takes longer to do, I'm going to have to go in, cross everything out, rewrite it. It's going to get really messy and it's going to stress me out. However, if I write declutter challenge task, I know that I need to pull from one of these tasks. After I have worked on that tiny area, I'm going to then write it in at the bottom. So that one is going to be the drawer number 4, and I can check it off. And then I can also cross it off on my list. And then after I have completed that task, that's when I'm going to cross it out. And so this is how I will know that that area is done. So now we'll say that it's Tuesday. So Monday has happened and we finished all of our action items. And so now it's time to move on to the next declutter challenge task. Only until after all of those action steps are completed and there is nothing remaining in my action step box can I move on to the next declutter challenge, because I don't want to leave all of these like incomplete action steps, because once those start piling up, that's when I personally get really overwhelmed. So we're addressing everything before moving on to the next step. And that's also something to think about and why I didn't schedule this in, because let's say that, so I worked on that drawer, but then maybe the next day, maybe my task for that day is just completing the action steps because I don't have time to start my next project. The whole point of this is that we're not getting ourselves in too deep to the point where we get overwhelmed and we want to give up. We're trying to break this down as much as possible. So we'll say that Monday happens, I start the drawer, and then I assign the next action items, and then I complete that, and then maybe this day all I did was complete the action steps. And then the next day I can now select my declutter challenge task. Maybe I move on to drawer number 5. And the reason why I'm scheduling my action steps into this monthly list or into the weekly spread is so that I'm not forgetting about what the next action is. I'm trying to clarify it as much as possible so there's no paralysis that occurs. The idea is that I'm writing in declutter challenge task when I'm planning out my week, but I don't assign the actual either tiny area or whether or not I'm working on action steps that day until I get to that day, because I don't know what the situation is going to be and I don't know exactly how long it's going to take and if life is going to get in the way and, prevent me from having time to work on it that day because maybe I have to work late that day or, something else comes up. I would love for you to join me in the rest of this Simplify Your Life series, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye! And my heart's beating fast when it's looking like that, or his smile is killing me. It's the way that it moves and the way that it laughs, so I can't get enough. Think about it